G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this absolute cracker Sydney morning here in Sydney town is to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is a book mainly directed at women, and the book is entitled How to Speak Life to Your Husband, a book that was published on the 13th of May 2025, so an only recent publication by a dual authorship of Anne and Dave Wilson. So from a woman's perspective, this book tries to give some advice for people to be able to live a better relationship with their partner. Some nights after the latest argument, where words flew like darts, you lie awake asking yourself, is this how we'll always communicate? You love deeply, yet feel unheard, frustrated, and maybe even invisible, like every attempt to connect only deepens the divide. This book, How to Speak Life to Your Husband, steps gently, ever so gently, into that tension. Anne and Dave Wilson don't hand out easy platitudes or picture-perfect marriage cliches. They write as a couple who have lived through mismatched expectations, extremely sharp words, and the long, slow work of learning to build rather than to break with speech. Their wisdom isn't reserved for crisis moments. It's for the everyday grind, bedroom routines, petty irritations, financial stress, and those ordinary spaces where small words can either sow bitterness or sow love. So you got a choice with what you sow. You can sow bitterness, according to these authors, or you can sow love. So let's see what we can learn, what we can take, and what we can incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, wisdom, and potential power. So the first key message to come from the authors is to understand that words are seeds, and you need to choose wisely in terms of how you use your words and how you plant these seeds, because when it's all said and done, every sentence plants something. Gentle encouragement and heartfelt apologies grow intimacy, whereas careless remarks sprout resentment. The next message from these dual authors is that the heart speaks louder than the mouth. It's important to understand and to always remember that tone, posture, and attitude often wound much more than the actual words that come out of one's mouth. Speaking life starts with a softened heart, humility, patience, and love. Another powerful lesson that comes from this book is where we learn that we need to pause before you pounce. When tempers rise, so does the urge to fire back. The key message here is to breathe, step away, and decide whether a response will actually heal or harm. Another important message to come from this book is where the authors remind us that one needs to restore quickly when you miss it. You will stumble, there's no doubt about that. You will stumble, but the key message from the author here is to not let small wounds fester. Own the hurt, apologise, and reconnect at every opportunity is an important lesson. Another message which I actually like is to encourage more than you correct. Correction matters, but steady gratitude and affirmation give strength for the hard conversations. One also needs to walk in their shoes, and the authors here make an important point here where one needs to understand his world. Much conflict comes from crossed wires. What you thought he understood, he didn't. What he thought you meant, you never said. So the key point here is to always ask, clarify, and listen closely. Another beautiful message here is that transformation is daily, not dramatic. Lasting change isn't a single heartfelt speech, but countless small choices, a gentle word at breakfast, a kind phrase after a long day. So thank you. And in summary, what we can say here is this book, How to Speak Life to Your Husband, is a book, as we said before, directed at women. And it isn't a magic formula. It's a guide for couples who are tired of shouting and ready to love each other with their words. If you long for a marriage where conversation becomes a source of connection rather than a source of regret, this book offers both the roadmap and the courage to start, and to start right now. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we've been through another book, another example of OPE, other people's experiences, where we've hopefully learnt a thing or two We've hopefully picked out a couple of morsels that we can include into our own inventory of skills and start practicing them today, not tomorrow, to make a better life for not only ourselves but also our partners and our families and all the people that we touch in some way on a daily basis. Take care, everybody. Yasas, and bye for now.